everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Diary of a Mystic. I'm a clairvoyant medium based out of West Virginia. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a video primarily focused upon Christopher Watts. Was Chris Watts possessed by a demon prior to or during or therefore after the act that he committed on August 13th, 2018. Christopher Watts, was he possessed by a demon? Demons are defined as an evil spirit or a devil, especially one thought to possess a person or act as a tormentor in hell. It's often referenced as a fallen angel akin to Lucifer in the Bible. A demon isn't out of any kind of resolution of an issue, but rather pure malicious evil, as if it feeds off the emotional energy of fear and anger. Demons can manifest themselves to us, taking on physical forms in order to try to coax us to commit evil. They are highly persuasive and tempting. Was Christopher Watts possessed by a demon? A demonic possession occurs when, through a continued cooperation with a demon, a person essentially invites the demon in by aligning his will with that of the demon. They can be intentionally or unintentionally invited in, therefore through portals, through openings, through spiritual openings, akin to using such tools as the Ouija board. Many speculate any type of divination invites in evil. However, I'm here to tell you that as a professional tarot reader, it does not invite evil in, and I've been doing this for 25 years. Demonic energy may be conjured or controlled. In the West, demonic possession or demonology survived as an explanation of mental health problems until the 18th century. What are the signs or changes upon demonic possession? There's many signs and changes upon demonic possession of a person. I'm going to list several. The first one's personality, demeanor change, onset of severe or abrupt mood changes, engaging in violent and or abusive behavior. You can appear catatonic, which he looks like in this picture. Of course, he's probably suffering from sleep deprivation and being interrogated for a couple of days and trying to keep his stride of innocence. Acting out sexually, preoccupied thoughts sexually. Lost or gaining weight suddenly. Changes in strength, physical strength. Even the voice can be manipulated or changed. I've done some research in terms of the Watts home at 2825 Saratoga Trail, Frederick, Colorado, in Weld County. Where they lived was a rather new development. There's a lot of plots or tracts of land around where they lived in their neighborhood, especially behind the home, as we all know, that was being developed. Many things can attach themselves to the land. Hauntings. There's a theory called stone tape theory, which a scene or scenario is replayed over and over and over again that can be attached to the rocks in the land. Limestone in particular has a high vibrational level when it comes to any type of attractant, especially for paranormal activity. In terms of limestone around that area, I couldn't find any limestone quarries or anything in particular. In terms of Indian burial grounds around where they lived, I know Colorado, of course, has a lot of Indian reservations. In terms of Indian burial grounds, that speculate, I really don't know. But the house was fairly new. Was there demonic possession in the home? I've often referred to that middle room in the home that we have seen when you first walk into their front door, and the great room, the first room with the high ceilings. Then you walk through to the kitchen, and there's that middle room in between the kitchen and the great room or the living room. Always came across to me as being odd. There's some type of odd energy there to me that I didn't like, even in watching previous videos where Shanann was shooting lives on Facebook for Thrive, or selling her, I think they were LuLaRoe tights. We can go back and find that video, there was just something odd, like a vacuum, like a vacuumous feeling of energy in that room. Demons in the house can be picked up on in various ways. First off, there's a foul smell. More of not a trash smell or garbage. This is more of a foul, death, decaying smell. On whether or not Shanann or Chris Watts ever experienced paranormal activity in the home, or even experienced any type of unusual activity in the home, we will never know. But one of the many signs of demonic activity in a home is a foul smell. Almost where it hits you so hard, it's something that you'll never forget. Objects moving or objects disappearing, objects flying through the air or thrown, objects breaking, especially religious objects or artifacts, knocking, banging, or pounding sounds, lights or anomalies seen or shooting around a room, like odd lights, like a ball of light. Dark shadows can form, especially dark shadows low to the ground can form, or shadow figures, either shadows that can be seen or that form. I have seen dark shadows in the form of dark entities that are not shaped like a human, but are rather shaped almost like a box, sit up and stand up and look and then sit back down. I have seen that. Animals become frightened. Of course, we know their dog, Dieter, was very upset, and a lot of us were very concerned about the dog in the home. Temperature changes, fluctuations in temperature. You see many paranormal investigators say, oh, I got chills, this is a cold spot. There's something to that. Apparently, especially entities can manifest and take a lot of energy out of a certain area. Temperature fluctuations. 2825 Saratoga Trail is a fairly newly built home. What was happening in the home? Or did this come from Chris Watts himself in terms of manifestation of demonic possession? Did this occur before the murders? Did this occur during the murders? Did this occur after the murders? I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, and I said, how do you feel about when someone causes such an evil act such as murder? Do you believe that any type of energy is attracted to that feed off of that can be attracted to that act? And he said, oh, definitely, yes. When I first saw Chris Watts' mugshot photo, I saw a demon in the middle of his forehead. And it very much showed me way before I knew anything about this case, that there's definite possibilities of this that are not what we see in movies. This is coming from a place of actual evil. This is also coming from a source or a place of many different things that can attach themselves to someone with resentment or hatred towards someone else, or oppression, or where the person is having a hard time in a situation, and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And I think that Chris Watts wanted out a long time ago. However, in terms of wanting out of his marriage, he also took on a different persona of a person that we've all seen in these videos and that we've all read about when he first married Shanann. And it seemed like it happened to escalate for him, especially right after Cece's birth. She was born in 2015, and within less than 3 years later, he had had enough. And demonic possession is not something that we see in the movies necessarily. This can come in small steps. This can come in small waves. This can also occur over a period of time. I don't know the religious background of Chris Watts or the religious background of Shanann Watts. Demonic possession is mostly spoken about in the Catholic Church because they have the right to perform exorcisms. However, demonic possession or demons in general have been talked about since biblical times. This is not something that is new. However, we don't think about that. We look at the individual per se, but do you think Christopher Watts was possessed by a demon? Do you think that there was demonic energy in the home? Many paranormal channels have performed and have found EVPs in the home from the body cams, from the police officers, from the interviews. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're demonic EVPs, but many things were picked up. Shadow figures were picked up. Many paranormal channels are also performing EVP sessions and trying to reach out to Shanann. So it's interesting. I wanted to do a video about this. And I also want to know what your thoughts are in terms of demonic possession. Do you feel, if you do believe in this, that it came on before the act of the murders? Do you think it also manifested itself during or after? And in my private practice, I've come across various situations of real demonic energy with clients. Demons attaching themselves to people, demons attaching themselves to places, demons attaching themselves to objects. I've had my own personal experience about 23 years ago of an actual demonic entity that occurred. That's another story time. I'm not one to speak about that, and I've never really talked about it except with a few people, but I will speak about that one day on this channel. So, demonic possession, demonic activity. What are your thoughts? Do you believe that this helped create his desire to murder, to kill his family? Do you believe that he was manifesting or had attached himself or had invited in, perhaps? Do you think it was attached to the land? Do you think there was something attached to the home? Do you think there was something attached to land? I Googled the area of Frederick, Colorado, Weld County, in terms of Civil War activity or history. I couldn't find anything. I live in an area where it's very rich with Civil War history. Right down the road is Antietam Battlefield, the Battle of Antietam. If you've ever heard of that, if you're a Civil War history buff, you can Google it. Right down the road from me is Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, where John Brown's raid was. So I've grown up with Civil War history, and there's a lot of paranormal activity that happens in this area where I live. I live down the street. I live about 10 miles from Shepherdstown, West Virginia, where I'm from, which, who was it that did a show that Shepherdstown's the most haunted town in America? And I grew up in a home that was built in the late 1700s that was used as eventually a hospital in the Civil War, and it was a big home, and I experienced paranormal activity there when I was a child. So it's something that is real. Events attach themselves to homes, events attach themselves to the land. But demonic possession or demonic activity is something that is invited in, or it can be intentionally invited in. It can be unintentionally invited in. It can also be something that manifests itself to someone. So give me your thoughts. I know many of those that have watched my Chris Watts video, that got a lot of traffic. It got a lot of opinions and comments. Many of us are still fascinated about why he did what he did. We will fully never know that. This is just my take on what I saw surrounding him and his energy as a clairvoyant medium, as an intuitive medium. And I welcome you to use your intuition on this channel to also leave comments in terms of what you think or what you feel intuitively. And of course, thank you so much for subscribing, especially everyone who has subscribed to this channel, commented, shared these videos. I really appreciate you. And tell me what you think in the comments below. Was Christopher Watts possessed by a demon? Or do you believe in demons? Do you believe that there is something defined as evil or defined as possession or an act of evil or possession with what he did? Of course, it is evil, but in terms of attachment to him, do you feel that he had a demonic attachment to him? So leave me your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, comment, share, like this video, and stay blessed, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon.